Hey everybody, this is Peter with Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to be taking a close look at Animal Adventures, the role-playing game starter set from Steam Forged Games. Previously, we did an unboxing for this game, but today we're going to go ahead and take a look at the rules for the game and kind of give a critique for what we think about it and does this game meet what it says that it wants to be, which is a game for people who have never played role playing games before, just getting into the hobby. So, without further ado, let's head down to the table and let's take a look at Animal Adventures. All right, everybody. So we're down to the table with Animal Adventures RPG Starter Set, the rulebook, and adventure. This is a 35-page book. And again, it is for new game masters, new players. The idea is that we're introducing new people to the role playing game hobby. And definitely the art and the theme, everything about this screams a younger audience, probably somewhere in that 10 to 12-year-old range would be my guess. Now, you could go down to about 8, but when it comes to the reading and the understanding of the rules, I'm thinking probably in that 10 to 12-year-old range. The vast majority of this book is taken up by the adventure, The Curse of Dr. Krankenstein, but the first 7 to 8 pages are the rules for the game, and it explains to the game master, the person who's going to be running, and the players what a role-playing game is. The first page does a pretty good job of explaining how role-playing games work, the fact that one player becomes the game master, all the other players are going to take on a specific character who is going to be playing in the game. And again, our theme here is that people are going to be playing as heroic dogs or cats. It describes very quickly here the fact that the game master describes the world and the situation. The players then explain how they want to deal with the situation. The game master will ask the players to make some sort of check using their dice to see if they achieve their aim. And then the game master also then narrates the outcome of the action depending on what the character rolls. Each character has 6 main attributes: their strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. The game book then explains to the game master and the players that each attribute is going to have a number. That number is also going to then have a modifier. It uses the example of the score of 14 for one of these attributes, and that the modifier for a 14 is a +2, and that number is going to be added to any roll using the dice to see the outcome of their checks. The next page tells us how the attributes are used so that whenever the game master gives the players a situation, the player then decides how they want to deal with that situation. Then the game master is going to set a difficulty for the action the player wants to take, whether it's very easy with a difficulty of 5 or nearly impossible with a difficulty of 30. The book then explains that to make a check, you're going to roll the d20, and then you're going to add the modifier for the attribute that you're using for that check. And then as long as the roll plus the modifier equals or exceeds the number for the difficulty, determines whether or not the player has succeeded on their check. The book then gives a very short example of play, and it describes advantages and disadvantages, meaning with an advantage, you get to roll the d20 twice, and with a disadvantage, you're going to roll the d20 twice and take the lower number. Advantage, you take the higher number. The next 2 pages explains how combat works in this game, and in this game, you are allowed to take 2 actions on your turn, but you cannot take the same action twice. It has to be 2 different actions. Of the main actions, there are 4, which is move, cast a spell, dash, or make an attack. Then it does list other actions, and these might be things that the players would like to do that aren't listed in these main 4, and it will be up to the game master and the player to decide exactly what that action is and if it requires a roll to succeed or not. It also explains here that when moving in this game, you're going to just be counting squares rather than some other role-playing games which use feet or centimeters or whatever. This specifically just uses squares, which is great for the game mats because most game mats have grids on them. When an enemy is reduced to 0 hit points, that enemy is then out of the combat and can no longer make any attacks. Same goes for the players. Whenever they get 0 hit points, then they're out for the rest of that fight. But at the end of the fight, the players automatically fully heal up and are ready to continue on with the game. So there's no death in this game, which again reinforces the idea that this game seems to be for that younger age group, because a lot of other role-playing games for the older groups will involve some sort of death possibility for their characters. And that is everything that is listed in the rules portion of the game. Now, the rest of the book, like I said, is broken down into the adventure. The first few pages here give you the game master an idea of how you're going to run the game or prepare for an adventure itself. And then it breaks down the adventure synopsis, and then the adventure is broken down into 3 scenes. The first 2 scenes are very short, they're each just 2 pages. And for each one, it is broken down at the beginning, showing you the setting and the map that you're meant to utilize from the starter set for it. It gives you a quick summary of this portion of the adventure, the players' aims, and then the enemies that you will be using against the players. The last scene is quite a bit longer. It actually takes up where the other 2 scenes only take up 2 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 11 pages. 11 pages for the final scene, which is a bit more of a dungeon crawl. So you're going to be moving from room to room. So a lot longer portion for that part of the adventure. And then the final part of the book is the enemy encyclopedia. And that shows us all of our enemies and their stat blocks, any special abilities that they may have. And then that is it. We have the credits for everybody participating in the making of this game. And that is the end of the book. Now, as somebody who has played quite a few role-playing games, I want to give you my thoughts on this book. 1, it's definitely short. It's definitely to the point. My only worry is that it's a little too short. As somebody who is trying to put their mind into the mindset of a brand new person to role-playing games, I would have loved a little bit more information in this book. And I could be wrong, right? I don't create games, I play games, and I run games. But with that in mind, I personally would have liked a little bit more explanation about the idea of attributes having scores and then also modifiers. Why do they have those modifiers? And what modifiers exactly correspond to those attribute scores? It's not specifically mentioned here in this book. Now, it does mention the fact that our character sheets in the box set have listed attribute scores, and the modifiers are going to be there. So I would be able to then intuit from the character sheet what scores and modifiers go together, but that's not explained here in the book. And I am somebody who likes to have things in a singular place. I don't want to have to go searching all over the place to get the information that I need. Also, being somebody who has played plenty of role-playing games, I can easily see that this game is built on the bones of 5th edition. Again, if I were new, I wouldn't have any idea what that meant. So that's fine, but I can see that it's definitely built off of 5th edition. But that's pretty much my biggest critique for this game, is I feel like it's just a little too light on the rulebook portion. Everything else in this game is really well put together. We've got great quality components. We've got the maps, we've got the adventure. The adventure itself is fairly straightforward, which I can appreciate for being something that is for a new game master as well as new players. So, my biggest critique is that if this is a product for somebody to become a game master for role playing games, we don't give the game master, I don't think, quite enough explanation for the game to give them the ability to just walk away from having read this a couple of times and feeling like, all right, I am ready to go. Now, I could be wrong, but knowing again that the idea is that this is for a younger audience, I feel like a little bit more information, a little bit more clear instruction for the rules would have been better. Now, I would love to hear the comments in the video here if anybody has actually played this game or started the game, role-playing games, with this specific box set. That would be really cool. I'd love to get those comments if anybody watches this video and this is where you actually got your start for role-playing games. And if you guys think I'm being maybe a little too critical, I'm not sure. But overall, quality-wise, I think this is a great set. Rules-wise, I feel like it went a little too heavy in saying it was going to be try to be rules light, where it is rules light, but it's also explanation light, and I feel like it just needed a little bit better explanation. All right, everybody, so that was my take on Animal Adventures, the rule book and adventure for their starter set. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope maybe it helped you decide whether or not this is something that you would like to get for new people that you would like to get into the hobby. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked it, give it a like or subscribe to the channel. Check out all the other videos that we're putting out. And until we talk again, everybody, thanks for watching and keep on playing games.